They also change the complete rules of the game. You don't have to open that concept. Now they have said you have to open the song for each other. And then when you we can start a session. They have not done breakfast yet. They have started. Also, when the topic goes, we have breakfast. Oh, that's it. No problem. Let us do it. It's not 8:50 for 8:30. I just go to my he has a breakfast from near the library. Actually, it start from 5-6 o'clock. I should do this before.
A very good morning, everyone. I warmly welcome you all to the second day of the international conference based on data electronics and computing, hosted by Northeastern Hill University, sponsored by Springer, Computer Chapter Intel, and Petronet LNG Limited. Now, I would like to call this upon Professor Hazarika, sir, and Professor Mita Nasipuri, ma'am. Forwarded. Please come forwarded, ma'am. And be seated for the introductory session. Please take your seat, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. For the chair, today we have Professor Mita Nasipuri, ma'am, from the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Jadavpur University. Professor Nasipuri is a prominent expert in the field of the pattern recognition image processing. She has authored over 500 articles in referred journals and conference proceedings. I would like to hand over the rest of the session to you, ma'am. Introductory session to you, ma'am. Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. A very good morning. Today is a bright sunny day outside. Now we are starting the first session of ICDEC 2022. Now this is a keynote address to be delivered by Professor Shamanta M. Hazarika, a professor of Mechanical Engineering Department of IIT Guwahati. Now, let me introduce Professor Hazarika. Now, Professor Hazarika, currently a professor of Mechanical Engineering Department of IIT Guwahati, where he heads the Biometric Robotics and Artificial Intelligence Lab. Prior to joining IIT Guwahati, he was with Computer Science and Engineering Department of Tezpur University. He has been a Bhartretung's Professor of Cognitive Systems and Neuroinformatics. I don't know whether I have spelled it correctly. So, of University of Bremen, Germany. Now, his present research interest is in bionic prosthetics and robotic neurorehabilitation, which translates into his interest in artificial intelligence and machine learning. Now, Professor Hazarika obtained a BE degree in mechanical engineering from Assam Engineering College, Guwahati. His MTech degree in robotics from Center of Robotics, IIT Kanpur, and PhD in Artificial Intelligence from School of Computing, University of Leeds, England. Now, today he will speak on the topic digital twins and robotic neurohabilitations. Now, the topic is very interesting and I feel privileged to chair this session. Now I request Professor Hazarika to please come to the podium and start his talk.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Respected esteemed colleagues from Jadavpur, from Manipur, Tezpur, of course, Nehu, and dear participants. It's a privilege to be here this morning and talk to you on digital twins and robotic neurorehabilitation. Just give me a minute before he sets it right. So I think you have to go full screen on my PPT. And do you have a changer? The mouse will change it? Okay. I can't see the mouse. I can't see the mouse there.
So you can scroll.
Only scroll?
Yeah, you can use this.
Okay.
Where is the mouse?
Okay, okay. So this is a little bit difficult for
You
me.
can scroll.
Okay. That's fine.
Keyboard also you can.
No, the keyboard doesn't work. Okay, that's fine. This will work. Yeah, fine. But how do you go back on this?
Scroll with the mouse.
Okay, fine. Don't worry. Good. So let's start. This talk is going to be very preliminary, and many of you, like Dr. Nazrul sitting there, must have heard me so many times talking about something that I love, robotic neurorehabilitation. I work in bionic prosthetics, which makes sense to many, in the sense that I work in prosthetics that are controlled by biosignals. And robotic neurorehabilitation is about using advances in robotics together with insights into neuroscience to develop tools for really exploiting something called neuroplasticity, the ability of our brain to grow newer networks when exposed to new stimulus, which it may have lost due to age or due to damage or dysfunction. So here is a translational research that I'm going to talk of, or only motivate you to take, which is bringing together advances in robotics, which in a sense is some form of electromechanical systems. Combine them with systems in the human body, which are biomechanical, controlled with biosignals, and put them together using an umbrella of AI and machine learning. So you jump from one side, which is electromechanical, to other, which is biomechanics and biosignal. And your building bridge is AI ML techniques. So that's what I will be talking of. I am very fortunate to have got a sustained funding to work on this for years now. From European Science Foundation, UK India Education Research Initiative, DSC, DBT, and Government of India's latest craze on Innovation Hubs. So my group has got a lot of Innovation Hub projects, and I have collaborators with University of Essex, England, Cognitive Neuroinformatics Group, University of Berlin, Germany. Of course, my students both at Tejpur and at IIT Guwahati now. Digital twins possibly does not need an introduction, but I would anyway do it. We are talking of making a digital copy of the real object. But then, as I will make clear during the course of my presentation, the digital copy is not just a simulation model or just a digital model of the system. What I have between the digital and the physical system is complete synergy of passing knowledge from the digital to the physical system and updating the digital system with any change in the physical system. So they are completely intertwined. It's not like if you create a simulation model, you create a model of the motor and then you simulate. Okay? And you see what are the results. That's not what a digital twin is. With the simulation model, if I can add a finite element analysis model, a physics-based model to really do the environment, another model on AI/ML to take some decisions, and I can then join completely between the physical and the digital model via information exchange. I call it the digital twin. I will show you what I mean. And as I was telling you, robotic neurorehabilitation, we will be talking of that. It is about exploiting certain advances in AI and robotics with insights in neuroscience. In order to understand digital twins, maybe it is a good idea to really understand why we are here today. When I say why we are here today, I don't mean why we are here at Nehu. It's fine. I have a loud voice, and there are only hardly 20 people. They will hear me. Don't worry. And you have to understand the industrial revolution. Today, everybody is talking of something called Industry 4.0. Okay, what is Industry 4.0? So, in order to understand that and understand digital twin, I thought of telling you some history. Okay, so the history goes like this. First industrial revolution, all of you know, it was about introducing production machines powered by water and steam. So it was steam engines that propelled the first industrial revolution. Next one was electric energy. Next was the industrial revolution that was brought through electronics and IT. Okay? And then now we have something called the industrial revolution again. That's powered by cyber physical systems. Okay. Now, if you take a look at this, steam was like 1784. It took 100 years for us to go from steam to electric energy. Another 100 years to go from electric energy to electronics. But then, progress is so fast that now we are thinking of moving to what are called cyber physical systems. Cyber physical systems are physical systems which are linked together via sensors and the ability to pass information for control. Okay, so we have physical systems, control, and information doing all of these together. That integration of information in all that we do, like many of you may be wearing bands here that tells you how much you have walked today, okay, or what is your heart rate right now. That's digitization. Okay, I take it one step further. I say give that data to me. Okay, I will understand how you work, and then my treatment of any kind to you will be personalized to your need. Okay? So digitization and integration of data that's happening in the last 25 years has brought us the possibility of bringing together mobile devices, wearables, okay, and that has led us to. Do you have a pointer at least? I think I brought everything. He said you have. So you have mobile devices, you have wearable things, okay, and human-machine interfaces, which have made it possible for many systems to come together, and then they will. Oh, I'm so grateful to you. Thank you very much. That's nice. Yeah, thank you. देखो शोधन तुझी बोलले भाई. आम्ही बोले दिला ना की मोबाईल आहे तो ब्रॉड. This one better is okay. So this idea that you could have advanced human-machine interfaces is together with cloud computing. That idea has given birth to this ability to really take data from anything and everything, put it together onto computational models so that you understand their working. So when you understand the working of a physical system, that system you can then address well. Now this is nothing new. NASA has been doing this for years and years. When they send out spacecrafts, the moment they blast one off, they also blast one off in the digital system. Yeah, and then see how things are happening. Anything happening here, they use a control variable here. Yeah. In fact, NASA, the Apollo 15 mission possibly, when got stuck, how to bring it back was first thought of in the digital system. And then they did that on the physical system. So that's nothing new. But what is new is this proliferation of this idea to activities of daily life. Today you use the mobile phone, okay? The moment you buy something from Mita, next day your mobile phone, your wife's mobile phone, your children's mobile phone, anything linked to your Aadhaar card or PAN card, all the mobile phones will have Mita advertisements. Okay? That is what I am talking of, digitization and integration. That's a negative side. I call it negative because then it's spamming my things. But there is a positive thing to it as well. The moment your handband gives data, and that data is there with me, I know how you are doing. What is your well-being? Okay? And then I can think of giving you customized treatment protocols. Okay? So people have thought of using this in cancer therapy, where they have created a digital model of the cancer patient and the type of cancer progression. So that even if you go to the doctor only 15 days later, all these 15 days you are not in a static treatment protocol. Your treatment is dynamic. Okay? That possibility is happening because of the possibility to create these digital models. Okay? And that is what I am trying to talk of when I am saying this digitization has given the ability to create digital representations. But remember, okay, you have to remember, the digital representations are not just the simulation models. They are, of course, the simulation models because they will collect operational history. But beyond the simulation models of the digital world, they are the CAD models, the finite element analysis model, the physics-based model to understand interaction with the physical environment, statistical models, and machine learning and AI models. Now, this idea of digital twins beyond NASA, okay, to the industry was taken forward worldwide by an Indian company, a Tata company, Tata Voltas, okay, a company that works in refrigeration and freezing. They thought of this first. for their chillers, which are used in refineries all over the world. They use these chillers, created digital twin models of these chillers. And as these digital twin models operate over time, these digital twin models would give us when to maintain this, what are the things, time to failure, and every other data. So sitting at the company in Pune, they could monitor everything from Africa, America, Australia to India. Okay? So that's the beauty. And that is when people were still talking of digital representations possible. Okay. Should we take a break or something, Jess?
No, sir. No, continue.
Okay. But you are trying to influence people to go out of the room, so I thought.
I'm not influencing that. I'm saying that few of us can go and have that.
No, we can take a break if you want.
No,
I'm fine, I can go late.
Okay, otherwise, shall we take a break?
Yeah, maybe because ma'am and all are
Yes,
without
yes,
food.
I-
So if your food is there, we can take a break.
I'm sorry for
Huh?
No. But there is a digital streaming. I think
Details to me.
it is
They also have to
not
wait.
good to stop.
No, like all the participants online, they also have to wait for.
10 minutes we will wait. So ma'am and all is not
Is
waiting
it
for 10 minutes.
fine? Is it fine to stop?
Okay, sir, 10 minutes break.
We'll take a break of 5 minutes. Yes.
Yes, 10 minutes break.
Has to be 10 minutes only.
Yes, yes.
Let us make it 10 minutes only.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Keep it on the 10 minutes.
Yeah. Because I'm getting distracted, you coming and going every time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So, no.
Well,
Don't have to be sorry. But
No, it's, yeah.
I have a very bad habit of I'm very frank man. Very frank. हाँ चलिए आइए मैम.
पानी पीछे सर अपना करना.
it's okay, don't worry.
sure he has or not.
Those who have not had breakfast, yeah, start. You can continue that. Yes. What is Chuck? Sit. পানী বটল থৈছো এইটো স্পিকাৰ আছে এইটো শুনা পাব সবৰ পৰা yeah so this would that it can capture long can we start can we start camera online 70 plus people yeah good for them thank you bless them. So yeah, we start. I was trying to give you a definition of digital twin. So a digital twin to emphasize the point where it becomes boring. That's what I do. But you have to take this home. A digital twin is not a simulation model. It is far more than a simulation model. You are creating a digital replica, okay, of your complete physical system. And that means that you will be doing CAD models, finite element analysis models, physics-based models, statistical models, MIA models. But then one thing to clearly know that there are a lot of misconceptions. The moment I say this is not a simulation model, there are a lot of digital twin misconceptions. So I thought of putting this slide. Okay, there's a very good paper on this. So there is a physical object and you create a digital object.
That's a digital model, not a digital twin. So you just create the object, replica of this, and any digital object that's driven by data flow based on the physical object. The data flow is manual, so you take the data and create your own model. Whereas a digital shadow is where some of the data flow may be automatic but not all. Whereas in a digital twin, oh, this arrow should be upside down. In a digital twin, a physical object drives the digital object, and the digital object tells me what is happening in the physical object. Okay, or what should happen in the physical object. So that interlinking between the two via automated data flow is necessary for anything to be a digital twin. And that's how you move from creating a digital model to having a shadow of the physical object to finally creating a digital twin. Okay? So that's what we do. Now, I will not do this very detailed, but then because most of us are from computer science, I thought it is very important for us to realize what are the different models of a digital twin. So there are different models in the sense that what are the different layers of interaction. Like if I'm talking of OSI, I think all of you understand what I'm talking of, right? In networks. So in digital twin, if I have to talk of, so what are the types of models in digital twin? There are two distinct areas of thought. One talks of 5D digital twin model, where digital twin is made up of only 5-dimensional things. Like you have the physical entity, you have the virtual equipment or your virtual entity, and you have services, and you have connections between each of them. That's a cyber physical system. Any cyber physical system which have services, the equipment, the physical entity, and they are connected. And then if you connect, you drive a model of the physical entity by doing over these equipments, services, and entity some connection, and try to get an optimized, and that's very important, an optimized physical entities digital representation. I get the 5D digital twin model. Okay, so optimization is very, very important. The optimization in terms of services, optimization in terms of representation, optimization in terms of reasoning. Then we have another which is called an 8-dimensional digital twin model. Because I do the 8-dimensional digital twin model, I thought I would just introduce it here. This is a slightly complex system where the digital twin is a living thing, almost a living thing. Okay, it's not with life. It's not with life, but it is a living thing. Living in the sense that it is dynamic as it operates. So dynamism is there. So there is an update frequency at which it updates itself every time. Okay, the higher the frequency of update, more closer I am to the physical system. Okay? And then I have the cyber-physical system, the simulation capabilities, all of these are there. Okay? But what differentiates between these two, if you can see, is I think of really capturing the behavior and capabilities as always, as also the control and the environment in which the objects are. So do you see the difference between the two models? The other model was just talking of creating a digital twin out of a cyber-physical system for any physical entity. Whereas this model is going one step further to create a living representation in the digital world of the physical entity. And how do you say living? Living in the sense that there is a frequency of update. So it's not a static representation and then doing once and some information. No, it keeps on updating. Okay, there is a frequency of update, and that frequency of update tries to capture two important things. Number one, it tries to do the behavior of the physical system, the behavior and the capabilities, and it tries to model the control and the environment. Okay, so this is what I use when I do my rehabilitation paradigm developments, where we are looking at rehabilitating people using electromechanical systems. Okay, like you must have seen a physiotherapist after a stroke asking somebody to move his hand repeatedly. Now, what in my lab I am doing? I am replacing the physiotherapist with a real system that moves the limb up and down. But why is my system better than a physiotherapist? I am trying to exploit two important things here. Number one, as the person is trying to do the exercise, okay, he has his own capabilities. So I am creating a digital twin model of this person, and I am trying to understand his capabilities in the digital twin model. How do I understand his capabilities in the digital twin model? By looking at his muscle signals, which I call muscle psychology models, or looking at his electroencephalogram, the EEG, and trying to understand his motor intentions. So I correlate this, I try to understand his abilities in my digital twin model. And from there, my system drives what must be the type of movement I will do. So type of movement repeatability is very nice. I use for mechanical system instead of a physiotherapist. And the amount of resistance that I need, I give it to the minimum. Okay? That is very, very important in clinical practice. That's called retention of residual skills. So if you see somebody suffering from Parkinsonism, if you see somebody from stroke, diseases like stroke, and trying to use their neuromuscular system, please do not assist them completely and make them vegetative. Okay, do not say, oh no, sit down, I will do for you. No. You observe what is the minimum to be done, you do, then you will retain his residual skills. That's called retention of residual skills. And the minimum assistance that you give will actually allow us to exploit something called neuroplasticity. That's what I am going to talk of next and match it up with the digital twin model. Okay? But then my digital twin is a digital twin of a human. Okay? And I cannot create the complete human, so I create bits and pieces of the human. And I work on an area that's only restricted from the elbow to your fingertips. Most of my digital twin models are this. One of my digital twin models is only the hand portion, not even the arm portion. Okay? Because you generate a lot of data and via lot of variables. Okay? And that data then you can store and then you can understand, and then in real time you can give help to that person. So that's the digital human model. But getting a digital human model involves many other things. Number one is ethical permission. The moment you want to capture somebody's digital human model, you need ethical permission from ICDEC. Okay? That's different point of view. But even to understand what is in the computational point, you need embodiment. Like, what is embodiment? Let me try to explain. You have been using, let's say, is variable that gives your heart rate, and your breathing. Okay. Now you are feeling very heavy at heart, and you know something is wrong, but because the data is coming from here, you think it is right. But if you are not feeling it and data is coming, then what is your reaction? You will say, oh, this instrument is wrong. You do not feel it to be part of your body, and that's why you discard it. And then disaster may happen. Because it was getting early signals, it did not. So getting that feeling into the digital model is difficult. Reliability of embodiment, that you feel every reading coming from it as coming from your body itself. The embodiment portion is something that's really, really difficult to make. Okay. So we use digital twins. I think whatever time Jesus has given me is over, but can I have some more time? Because we have taken a break, right? Yes? I can take some more time. At least up to 11. Because 11 you are starting another talk. I'll take another 15 minutes or so. Okay? So, I have given you a very short introduction to what is a digital twin. Now I will tell you how I use those digital twins in my area called robotic neurorehabilitation. So robotic neurorehabilitation is about using some progress in robotics together with progress in neuroscience, using signal processing, machine learning. I may not talk of signal processing in front of all of you, particularly Hazarika will prove this year. But we use signal processing. We understand EEG, particularly EEG we understand. And we use some form of machine learning to create assistive devices. That's neurorehabilitation. But neurorehabilitation that we use, I'm restricted to only one neurorehabilitation. For the last 25-30 years, I have concentrated in only neurorehabilitation of the extreme upper arm. So my research has been just concentrated from here to here. Okay? 25-30 years, I've been just looking at this portion of the human body. And in order to rehabilitate this kid, in order to bring functionality to this portion, which has lost functionality because of either disabling disease or amputation or some other form, amputation means I will go for prosthetic. But if it is not amputation, it has lost functionality because of neuromotor control loss. We exploit something called neuroplasticity, which is the capacity of the neuron and the neural networks in the brain to reorient themselves. And that reorientation can happen if you reduce stimulus, if you keep on repeating stimulus, and that's what the physiotherapist does. What we do is also create instruments to exploit neuroplasticity so that neural networks are brain. But then what we ensure when we are allowing such things to happen is in my lab, the treadmill or the other arm that one operates when one is trying to rehabilitate comes with a digital twin of that part playing well with that system. So that what is coming from the digital twin and what is in the physical system, there is interchange of information and I get the exact amount of assistance to the human. Okay? So we look at one area of the brain only, which is the motor area, and my concentration over all of these years has been just the surface EEG. So EEG collected from the surface and in the motor area, the C3, C4, C7, this portion of the brain, whatever signal is coming, I try to model and understand its capabilities and more. Now, in order to create such a twin, the interaction dynamics between the real world that I am trying to measure and get idea, like the EEG telling me how this patient is, okay? Getting it to the digital twin, and then the digital twin model telling me how much exercise regime should be here. What are the forces that is expected here? Okay? And then that system then coming back here and giving me the exercise. So that's the use of a digital twin model in rehabilitation, where the paradigm is decided online here every time at that point. And then that is model back. So the interaction dynamics is very, very strong. And particularly as I was telling you my personal story, I just concentrate on either understanding the movement that's coming from the EMG electrodes, electromyogram, or understanding the intention that's coming from the EEG, the electroencephalogram. So I understand either the direct movement capabilities or the intentions and try to again, and remember, we are not talking of now. You may be saying, "Arey, what is so great about it? People have been doing EMG control of prostate." Yes, people have been doing EMG control of prostate, but very few people have been thinking of then putting that electrode readings that are in the prostatic back to the brain. So we put back signals that we receive from the system itself, like the prostatic head or the exoskeleton head, back to the system. So we exploit some sensors on the hand, collect that tactile information, okay, and then use some non-invasive methods to directly stimulate the peripheral nervous system, which then goes to the central nervous system and the person can then make sense. So that was what I was talking of, that the connection is both ways. I have my physical system telling me how much movement should happen, that physical system giving the movement itself, that movement happening in the physical system, then again going back and telling the physical human being that some movement has happened. And that sensory thing, then talking of some movement intention, which I capture via EEG, and then this digital field knows that some movement has happened and this is what the movement was about. Okay. So that interlinking is very, very important. I don't know if you have got it, but if you see my video a little bit, maybe you will get this. Okay? So we exploit anthropomorphic hand design. We have been designing many, many hands. Two of my hands are in clinical trials, another one will go into clinical trials this summer. Okay? So different versions of hand at different points of time. But all of these hands, we are using anthropomorphic design. And all of these hands till now, we were not doing twinning. We were just doing EMG control. So the signal comes, we understand, we control. But now we have moved these hands one step farther by saying, no, here we put, so for computer science will be here we put something called cognitive architectures of control. Like if you are aware of what cognitive architectures are, so we put a cognitive architecture. One that my PhD student has worked on is called a collaborative belief, desire, intention model. Belief, desire, intention is a very interesting BDI, is a very interesting cognitive architecture. We extend it one step further to say collaboration between the instrument and the human hand and put an architecture there to really do control of these things. Okay? So these type of things is what works. And the EMG control is rudimentary. The EMG control works because many of you may be aware, it works by looking at the muscle signals and then doing a lot of things. Now just to give you an idea, EMG signal encoding, even if so many people are doing, itself is a difficult task. Because the first EMG arriving here, you then have to acquire, you then have to do recognition and understand what is that EMG about. The next EMG will come after 300 milliseconds. So you have 300 milliseconds before you complete your previous classification, including your acquisition. And acquisition takes around 250 milliseconds. So you are left with 50 milliseconds for your classification effort. So that's a challenging machine. That's a challenging machine. 50 milliseconds, we could do some 5 type of grass classification or 6 type of grass classification to an accuracy of 98.5, 96.5. That's still the universal standard. People have not gone beyond it. Because the time of classification left to you is very less, so you have to work with very minimal sense. Okay, so here are some of my PhD students working. So here is a digital twin that you could see between this and this. Okay, this for your information is not just the EMG working; it's everything. If slip is right, okay, then you will really grasp. Like let me demonstrate. Our hands can do this. If this is slipping from my hand, I will do reclasp, right? Our hands can do this. A simple EMG model cannot. A simple EMG model can only do grasp and it will crush it. It will crush it. Slipping, regrasping is only possible because frequency of update between my things and your things, physical things, is happening in a very fast way. That makes things interesting. And here is a stroke patient whose finger movement is being monitored using a twin model. And this is the collaborative control architecture that I was talking about, which understands how much assistance I need to give. Okay? And these sort of things are first to be modeled. This sort of things are first to be modeled in. So this is a simple simulation one. But this is not a digital thing. That's why I put it. This just gives me the simulation. You add it up with this the physics environment model. Okay, physics model. You add it up with the decision making model, which is the MIA model, and everything. But this is just the simulation of the synthesis. We have worked on water imaging, EEG, brain-computer interfaces for quite a long time. And most of these time, we were only doing classification or understanding how things are. Okay? Lately, we have thought of using this also and bringing it into the digital twin paradigm, where in our architecture, we will include this. So we have looked at this. And we have looked at a very interesting idea from philosophy. Are there any people from philosophy? No. So next time, which is not here. But next time we have a computer science conference, it is important that we call people from philosophy and psychology into our group. Okay, it will widen our scope of really having great discussions. So we have got an idea from philosophy which is affordance. I don't know how many of you know what affordance is. So let me give you a demo. If this is an object that I want to pick up to drink, then I will pick up like this. Okay? And if this is an object that I will pick up to throw, I will pick up like this. Do you see a basic difference in the way I am picking things up? This I am doing because my next action decides what I am doing now. Okay? Like if I see the chair, immediately I feel like sitting on it. So it gives me the affordability to sit. If I see a door, immediately I know this is the way to go. If I see a window, I know this is the way to let air in. Okay? So affordability is very important. But the interesting point is, the moment you see an object and understand this affordability, that area in your brain gets activated. The moment you are seeing a glass, your C3, C4 area gets activated because you know you are going to use the hand to hold it. So we have studied affordability in a long way and looked at affordance and geometric reasoning. And we have done a lot of experiments by showing videos of people hammering things. See, what is a hammer used for? Hammering a nail. But also hammer can be used for putting up as a paperweight. As a paperweight, you can use a hammer. So, if I show you a hammer, should your motor system be up or should your system, your visual cortex be up? Your motor system, because you are going to use it as a hammer. But the moment I show you a beautiful bird, visual cortex is more up. Okay, so we have studied this in order to understand the brain and link it a digital brain, and looked at low resolution and tomography images. So this is something which we have been developing and using. In that from the surface EEG, we create a internal hemodynamic activity. Like it tells us which area is getting more primed. Okay, this. So if you just observe other people, or if you just imagine, and if you imagine and observe, you are activating yourself more. So the next stroke protocol that has come up is that when you are doing physiotherapy, it is very important that you also play in front of him the video of moving a hand.
Okay, if you have a stroke patient, God forbid, if you don't have very good, but if you have one, please make it sure that when the physiotherapist is working, I have not been able to convince the physiotherapist, but you are scientists, so you can convince. If you're working just with action observation, this is the type of priming happening. If you are just immersing, this is the type of priming happening. So if you are emerging and observing, plus in the same way doing your physics, then it will be most accurate. And that's what we have been trying to explore and creating a digital twin model for EEG hybrid control. One more minute, ma'am. So in the digital, in the EEG hybrid control mode, what we are doing is we are combining our understanding of his capabilities from the EEG. We are understanding his capabilities from the EMG and trying to make a good understanding of what his capabilities are. Now, when I say capabilities of using the hand, because you should remember I am only concentrating hand and for all this. So here is the idea that the brain sends some signals to the muscles and the muscles activate my musculoskeletal system and my things move. That's the human body. What extra people were doing, or most of the other people were doing, they were sending these muscles, they were not able to directly go to the musculoskeletal system. So they were taking these EMGs and trying to control the robot and actuate and provide the assistance so that this works. What we have done is also included this too. The robots that we create, the controllers that we create first the digital model of the human musculoskeletal capability by taking brain signals and muscles and then sending them. And we then have somebody whose brain imaging we do, the musculoskeletal imaging, only the motor imagery in the motor portion, motor cortex. Get these EMG possibilities, the muscle activations, and then control the prostatic or the exoskeleton device. So here is an exoskeleton from which is supporting movement of already existing fingers. A prostatic could be replacement of that one. So I will not do this much, but just to give you an example that motor imagery and mental fatigue are very close. As you do motor imagery, your brain gets fatigued. We have studied how a person can get tired just by thinking about moving his hands, which is what a stroke person is doing. And we have tried to use unsupervised learning to actually create something called adaptive CSP. CSP is a feature extraction method. So adaptive methods of feature extraction. Here, as you see, as I go from the first run of my experiments to the last run, the runs are around 8 here. A person gets tired because this is the delta rhythm, and this is the nose. So this area, he generates a lot of signals. Okay, the delta signals, and this starts fading, and he gets a headache or he gets a tired. So we looked at this. And we created this adaptive common spatial pattern filter, which allows us to really understand the signal in spite of motor fatigue, mental fatigue in motor imaging. So in that case, the brain is now working, and this is where the digital twin is very interesting. The brain that was only taking commands is now also our sensor, because it tells us how is the well-being of that person that I am trying to help. And then I have here a cognitive architecture rather than a simple control. This is a cognitive architecture that is using as a controller. It has two layers. The local one controls the low-level electronics, that's simple. But what is interesting is the superior control, which is some belief, desire, intention model that tries to mediate between a manual and an adaptation mode, and then sends the control signal. And that control signal, you should remember, is best for that particular patient. And this is what I have been doing. In order to do this,
I must know, given my model and my performance, how is that person recovering. So I use a lot of clinical parameters to automatically identify his recovery using some deep learning methods. So use deep learning here, where the deep learning methods tell us what are his recovery progress indicators. These are clinical progress indicators, like fetal mear score and things like that, which I'm not going to do. You should understand that this tells you the recovery. So based on this recovery, you should give him assistance. So the next portion is based on this recovery, you give him assistance. And the assistance that I give is based on some method called reinforcement learning. If you are from mammal, you will understand that reinforcement learning is more the recovery, I give more score to my process that is creating the digital twin and the synergy between them. If it is not happening, I bring it down and do a second frequency of reading and then look at increasing the frequency of updates and go on with this. So I will end my talk by showing you one assisted non-clinical trial now where the patient's finger of a stroke patient is being moved by my machine based on all these systems that I have described. Okay? So this person has no ability to move his hands and therefore requires physical therapy. But then he has been kind enough to join our subjective evaluation, and we call it a functional characterization. So he has joined our functional characterization, where we are trying to really get him in to understand if our model works. Now, 6 months down the line, these are very time-consuming things. 6 months down the line, a clinician will evaluate him and will let us know if this is okay. Okay? And the control, somebody with the same clinical score is also being helped with the physiotherapist. So we will know if our system makes a difference. We are waiting for the results. Nothing is there. Next time I come here, maybe I can tell you if our system won or theirs. No, seriously, this is no win, no loss game. I think of these systems as systems that can augment our physiotherapists. Because India being a poor country, we cannot have physiotherapy systems like the Logomod or the MIT Manas everywhere. There are only a couple of them in Lilavati Hospital in Bombay or a couple of hospitals in Bangalore. Nothing in Calcutta even for us. Okay, so that is the way. So if we could have automated systems that would actually give us the confidence that the physiotherapist is doing it right, okay, then this process would progress well. And therefore I see, even if I call them intelligent assistive devices, I see them as AI being augmented intelligence rather than artificial intelligence. Thank you very much. This is the right one.
Thank you, Professor Hazarika, for your excellent presentation. Now, questions. Actually, to short some time, we can take 2 or 3 questions from the audience. Any questions?
That's good. This really this presentation is very useful, informative, very real life related presentation. And I would like to attend your presentation because I got so many new information, especially some research direction I can get. But here, only one my question. First question is exactly the doubt. So when physical object and visible object varies, that time there may be some mismatch. So mismatch may be due to different reasons. So how your system can handle the mismatch?
That's a brilliant question actually. That's good. So maybe I will take only one question and explain you why. This problem that you have said in digital twin, mismatch, is a problem that we call in the literature as sim to real problem. You have a simulation, you have a real thing. How do you match the simulation and the real? So our simulation models are models that are under nominal environment we simulate. Then we simulate under dynamically disturbing environments. We create disturbing environments for the simulation first and see if our simulation can withstand it. If our simulation model cannot withstand that, that means it cannot withstand any disparity between the real and the digital when I am trying to intervene. So nominal environment simulation is run. If it passes, it's good. Then we do dynamic disturbances. So we simulate the disturbances as well and see our simulation model, how it is working. And then we try to understand what needs to be done in the digital model. So that is called not the functional characterization, and that is called the mechanical characterization. The digital model, whether it is capturing my physical model correctly or not because of disturbing elements in the environment itself. That's one thing. But did I get your question right or not? Yeah.
But the thing is that if the physical system, the whatever the sensors or appliances you have used, if that is I'm asking different points, like security point of view.
Yes.
So if the appliances are compromised,
Yes.
so in that case, the mismatch is going on.
Yeah, that is very vital. So that I have not covered this. In the 8G model, if you see, I have given a model where there are 8 components, right? You have seen that. We break it up into 2 complete different sides. The control one takes care of all the elements that you are talking about. So there is a lot of things that people from security like you, network security or security, can be working here. How do you ensure that the BP reading and the pulse reading that you get from the pen that you are sending to the cloud for me to read there is correct? So a lot of security is to that. And that is not my expertise, so I don't know the correct answer to your question. But I am aware of the fact that a lot of research can be done in this portion. My portion is in the divider and this side, behavior and its cognition. Yeah.
As a curiosity, one of the questions the effectiveness of real-time simulation.
Yes.
That is the question.
Yes.
This is just I want to know whether we may consider this digital twin as a behavioral twin.
Depending on the scenario that you want to use, digital twins can be one of them. One of the two in the sense that it could be just the functional one or the behavioral one. For healthcare, we are looking at a complete behavioral in the sense that I want to really understand how your biosignals are working, plus how is your total cognition vis-a-vis the signals. So I want to copy both. Okay, copy both. But if I was just looking at the problem that I started my talk with, where I am talking of a chiller, where the number of inputs are very minimal. Okay, it's about cold water being pushed in, hot water coming from the industrial plant, and me just taking care of the temperatures. Then it would be just a mechanical characterization good enough. Okay, so that would be a simpler digital twin. But in our case, it is complete behaviors that we need to do. You are from electronics?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Sir, I have one question. Digital twin, it is that it's a digital version of a message. So, can we use it for any other message, maybe spacecraft or something which we not easily accessible, then know the status of the actual message from the twin?
Yes. Yes, I think I told this. Maybe I will repeat this again for you. Digital twin concepts have been there for years, and the initial concepts were from NASA, where they created digital models of their spacecraft
Yes, sir.
to really understand as it operates there. And then I forgot which mission, it's not coming to me, but one of the Apollo missions where astronauts got stuck. Which mission was that? Do people know that? 13 or something. I don't know the number, so I'm not quoting it wrong. That mission, when it got stuck because of a malfunction, literature says that they understood how to sort that problem out in the digital twin model at John F. Kennedy Space Center at NASA. And their idea was then followed by the astronauts and they could come back. That is what it is. So it could be for anything. The one that intrigues me and I am very excited is by the group at University of Texas at Austin, where they are doing digital twin of cancer growth. Cancer growth for chemotherapy.
Yes, sir.
Those type of applications really excite me rather than a Boeing aircraft or a spacecraft. Spacecraft एक गिर गया भी कुछ नहीं, एक आदमी का जान गया तो सब कुछ. So saving one life is more important than not losing one aircraft or a spacecraft. But cancer grow if you can really do a digital twin model and then do chemotherapy. Think of the advantage. You do not do overdose. You personalize the treatment for that person. You do not delay his treatment even by a second because that is completely monitored and happening. It's not like every 24 hours somebody is monitoring you. Okay, so those type of things where digital twin is going to make a difference. Not in the industrial sector per se. Industrial sector, it has been there for years.
Yeah, even like I can listen in the example, we see that like Cyrus Mystery, who the test said person who was killed in a car accident, like say, this could have been the companies that would benefit that what is the actual cause of killing the occupant inside the car or inside the barricade or the truck that could have been updated well or to prove this security concerns or safety concerns.
Yes, I
Thank you, sir.
So, as we have been turning out this approved this session, I again thank Professor Hazarika for his nice presentation. Let us give a big hand for his. And if you have any more questions, Professor Hazarika is staying till lunch session and you can discuss.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Listen, unless we can
I would like to request Professor Mita as a I would like to request Dr. Jules now, Assistant Professor of Environmental Methods and Communication Engineering, to present the Welcome all workers and session, which will be shared by